They found the body at 6:47 a.m., floating face down in Blackwood Lake, just past the boathouse where the seniors used to sneak cigarettes. The water was still half frozen. Whoever it was had been there all night. I know this because I was awake. I'd been awake since 3 a.m., staring at my dorm ceiling, listening to Juno cry in her sleep again. But I'm getting ahead of myself. 4 months ago, I didn't know any of these people. I didn't know what old money smelled like. Turns out it smells like leather, eucalyptus, and lies. I didn't know that the prettiest girl in school would become my best friend, then my worst enemy. I didn't know that a boy with green eyes and a cracked smile would teach me how to disappear inside someone else. And I sure as hell didn't know that one of them, one of these gorgeous, polished, ivy-bound monsters, was a killer. My name is Sienna Marlowe. I'm 17. And this is how I lost everything I came here to find. So picture this, late August. Connecticut heat that sticks to your skin like syrup. I'm sitting in the back of a yellow cab with a duffel bag, a busted iPhone, and exactly $43 in my checking account. My mom packed me a peanut butter sandwich for the 4-hour ride from Brooklyn. I ate it somewhere around Hartford. The cab pulls up to these massive iron gates, like Bruce Wayne iron gates, and the driver just whistles. Damn, kid, you sure this is the right place? I checked the letter for the 10th time. Blackwood Preparatory Academy. Full merit scholarship. Marlowe, Sienna R. Yeah, I said. This is it. He shook his head like I was walking into a horror movie. Spoiler alert, I was. The campus looked like something out of a Ralph Lauren ad. Stone buildings, ivy crawling up the walls, fountains, manicured hedges shaped like deer. And the kids. God, the kids. They were unloading Range Rovers and G-Wagons. Girls in tennis whites. Boys in linen shorts and Patek Philippe watches that probably cost more than my mom's car. And then there was me. Off-brand sneakers. A duffel bag I bought at Target. Hair I cut myself in the bathroom mirror 2 nights ago because I couldn't afford a salon. I felt like a stain on a wedding dress. That's when I heard her laugh. It cut through everything. The cicadas, the engines, the chatter. Like glass shattering in slow motion. I turned, and there she was. Delaney Cross. She was standing on the steps of Ashford Hall, sunglasses pushed up on her head, blonde hair catching the light like she'd bribed the sun personally. White sundress. Gold chain. Bare feet, heels dangling from 2 fingers. She was laughing at something a tall guy next to her said, and he was looking at her like she'd hung the moon. That was Tate. Tate Ashford. I didn't know it yet, but I was looking at the king and queen of Blackwood Prep. Then her eyes flicked to me. Just for a second. Up, down, dismissed. Like I was a piece of furniture being moved into the wrong room. I wanted to throw up. My dorm was on the 3rd floor of Whitlock House, East Wing, room 312. I dragged my duffel up 3 flights of stairs because the elevator was reserved for furniture deliveries. When I pushed open the door, the first thing I saw was a girl sitting cross-legged on her bed, surrounded by orange pill bottles. She looked up, panicked, and swept them into a drawer like I'd caught her with a body. Oh my God, sorry. I thought you weren't coming till tomorrow. That was Juno Park. 5 foot nothing, dark hair in a messy bun, oversized Yale sweatshirt that swallowed her whole. She had this nervous energy, like a hummingbird that hadn't slept in 3 days. Her hands were shaking when she stood up to shake mine. I'm Juno, roommate. Hi, sorry, hi. I liked her immediately. Sienna, I said. Don't worry about the pills. I have an ADHD prescription too. She laughed. Quick, sharp, relieved. Oh, sweetie, these aren't ADHD pills. She didn't elaborate. I didn't ask. That was rule number 1 at Blackwood. I'd learned fast. Don't ask what people are taking, who they're sleeping with, or where the money came from. She helped me unpack, asked where I was from. When I said Brooklyn, she made this face. Not mean, just curious. Like I was a zoo animal she'd read about but never seen in person. You're gonna get eaten alive here, she said softly. Then she smiled. But I'll help. I've been here since freshman year. I know all the exits. I should have asked what she meant by exits. Friday night. First weekend of senior year. The Ashfords throw a welcome party at their boathouse every year. Tate's family basically owns half this town, so the school looks the other way. Juno made me wear her dress. Black silk, backless, the kind of thing that costs more than my rent. "Trust me," she said. "If you show up in jeans, they'll never let you forget it." I felt like a fraud, but I also felt like, for the first time in my life, I looked like I belonged somewhere expensive. The boathouse was lit up like a movie set, string lights over the water, a DJ on the deck, bottles of Dom Perignon being passed around like Gatorade. Someone had set up a full bar staffed by guys in white shirts. There were maybe 200 kids there, all of them shimmering, beautiful, half drunk already. That's where I met Knox Beaumont. He found me at the bar. 6'2", sandy hair, a smile that worked too well for its own good. Polo shirt, Rolex, the kind of cologne that costs $400 a bottle and somehow smells like winning. "You're new," he said. Not a question. "That obvious?" "You're the only person here not pretending to be bored," I laughed. He bought me a drink. Vodka, soda, lime. He asked me where I was from. When I said Brooklyn, his eyes lit up like I'd told him I was from Mars. "Brooklyn? No way. Like, real Brooklyn? Not Williamsburg Trust Fund Brooklyn? Real Brooklyn. East Flatbush. Hot." He leaned in. "Listen, Sienna from East Flatbush. You want to know how this place works?" I nodded. 2 rules. 1, everyone here is lying about their parents, their grades, their feelings, all of it. 2, if you ever need anything, you come to me first. Pills, papers, party favors, problems. I'm the guy. He slipped his number into my phone before I could say no. That should have been my first warning. Instead, I felt special. Chosen. Like I'd been invited into a secret room. That's how they get you, by the way. Not with cruelty. With access. Around midnight, I needed air. The party had turned into something feral. Delaney was dancing on a table. Tate was doing shots off some sophomore's stomach. Juno had disappeared an hour ago and wasn't answering my texts. I slipped out the back, walked down to the end of the dock where the lights couldn't reach, took my heels off, sat with my feet in the water, and that's where I saw him. He was sitting at the very edge of the dock, smoking. Black t-shirt, dark jeans, boots, hair like ink falling into his eyes. He didn't turn around when I sat down. He just exhaled smoke into the dark and said, "You're either very brave or very stupid," sitting next to me. His voice was low, rough, like gravel under a tire. "Why's that?" I asked. He turned his head, and my stomach did this thing, this flip. He had this jawline that looked sharp enough to draw blood. Green eyes, a small scar through his eyebrow. "Because," he said, "everyone at this school avoids me, and the ones that don't, they want something." "I don't want anything," he smiled then. Just barely, like he hadn't done it in a while. "That's what makes you interesting." His name was Cassian Wolfe. He didn't tell me that night. I'd find out later. He didn't go to Blackwood anymore, technically. He'd been expelled junior year for something nobody would talk about. But he still showed up to these parties. Watching. Smoking. Like he was waiting for something. We sat on that dock for an hour. He didn't ask about Brooklyn. He didn't ask about my scholarship. He asked me what book I was reading, what music I listened to walking home at night, whether I believed people could change. I said no. He said good. When he finally stood up to leave, he flicked his cigarette into the lake and looked down at me. Word of advice. New girl? Yeah, don't trust Delaney. Don't sleep with Tate. And if Knox offers you a pill, don't take it. He walked off into the dark before I could answer. I sat there a long time after, my feet going numb in the cold water. I found Juno at 2 a.m., passed out in the boathouse bathroom. Her lipstick was smeared. Her dress was on backwards. There was a bruise blooming on her wrist that looked like fingerprints. I shook her awake. She started crying before her eyes even focused. Juno, what happened? Who did this?" She wouldn't answer. She just kept whispering over and over, I'm fine. Please don't tell anyone. I'm fine." I half carried her back to the dorm, got her into bed, sat next to her till she fell asleep, and then I did something I shouldn't have done. I opened her drawer, the one she'd panicked over that first day. The pill bottles weren't prescription. None of them had her name. None of them had any name. Just little orange cylinders with handwritten labels. Blue, white, pink, yellow. And underneath them, folded up small, hidden under the lining, was a Polaroid photograph. It was Juno. in Tate Ashford's bedroom, and she didn't look like she'd wanted to be there. My hands were shaking when I put the photo back. I closed the drawer. I climbed into my own bed. I stared at the ceiling till the sun came up. 4 months later, they'd find a body in Blackwood Lake, and I'd be the only one who knew where to start looking. If you made it this far, you already know I'm not the same girl who got out of that yellow cab. Nobody who steps onto Blackwood's campus stays the same. Episode 2 drops next week. We're gonna meet Tate up close. We're gonna find out what Delaney does behind closed doors. And we're gonna learn exactly what kind of pills Knox is selling and who's buying. Hit subscribe if you wanna know who ends up in the lake. Comment below. Who do you think? Did it? Tate? Delaney? Knox? Cassian? Or someone we haven't even met yet? I'll see you next Friday. Same time. Same dark little corner of the internet. This was Blackwood Prep, Episode 1. Sweet dreams.